just like, do people realize how many more babies used to die?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because that's one of the things we're going to talk about in today's episode.
Oh, no! Okay. You have my attention.
Books. 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 Books.
But first,
Is
hello and welcome.
we've been recording this whole time?
Yes.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to Didn't Read It, the podcast that is thoroughly in favor of infants surviving to childhood.
Yeah, pretty big on that.
And children surviving to adulthood. We're big fans of it across the board.
Unequivocally. Taking a stance, being brave.
Controversial.
Yeah, controversial yet brave.
I am your host, Grace Todd.
Child lover.
Child. Lee, you cannot say things like that on the internet. And with me today, undermining me at every turn, is longtime pal of the pod.
Why are you laughing when you say it?
Because I'm just waiting for the next soundbite you're going to create that someone could take out of context and make sound terrible. Is Lee.
Hey.
You're here. Again.
I'm back.
It is August. It is
Hot.
There's a heat wave.
Hot.
I think
Hot and wet.
I believe, for a quick bit of housekeeping, that this will be our last regular episode for a little while. It is the end of season 2. It is the end of the summer. This is traditionally when we take a little break.
Woo, woo, woo.
Until September.
Yeah.
Our usual summer break will be extended probably into a little bit of a hiatus while I manage some complications.
Yes. Life, man.
Yeah. We won't be disappearing entirely, however. I think we will probably repost some stuff. We will post a couple of one-offs. We'll post some silly things. We will not disappear entirely, but after this week, we will be a little irregular. I am going to try and do a little bit more on the newsletter. So
very good newsletter.
If you find the Didn't Read It newsletter on Substack, I will put the link in the show notes.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's good writing.
I think you're so kind.
And if you concentrate really hard, you can hear Grace's voice in your mind while you read, which is like a podcast for your eyes.
Yeah, thank you. So
You're welcome.
If you go subscribe there, I will also start posting there every time we post an episode, since they will be a little more intermittent, so that you don't have to worry about being like, did an episode happen? I don't know. You will know, because you'll get an email about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all check our email.
Yeah, we do.
We sure do.
You usually respond to my emails.
I actually do check my I actually check my email, but I know quite a few people who do not check their email.
Yeah, a lot of
At
people
all.
are very avoidant of their emails.
I don't blame them.
I don't know, y'all. Send me your phone number and I'll just text you.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she can be trusted with it.
I can be responsible with it.
Yeah, she won't sell your information that much.
No.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Look.
It's expensive out here.
Book podcasts got to get made.
Need some income. We got to sell some personally identifying information and data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to review, this will be the last regular episode of season 2. And then we're going to go on hiatus for a little bit, and we will resume posting super regularly sometime in the spring. Probably in February or March.
Great time for a regular podcast.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I will be dropping in intermittently in the meanwhile. Never fear. It's not going to be like radio silence until then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, come find us on Substack. Didn't Read It on Substack. Anyway, that little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Lee.
Yes. Yes.
what do you know, if anything,
Not a lot.
about the birth and sort of history of children's literature?
Oh, not a lot. I read books when I was a child or had them read to me.
That's good. That's a start.
And that's probably about the extent of knowledge of it. The first book that I quote unquote read was Green Eggs and Ham, but actually I just poorly memorized it. And I remember my father having to sit through what I felt like an excruciatingly long time of me pretending to read it, but just reciting from terrible little 4-year-old memory what I remembered of the story. It took a long time too.
That's a true rite of passage, I think,
Yeah.
for every child, is pretending that you can read,
Yeah.
having memorized, well, quotes, air quotes, memorized your favorite book.
Yeah. Children's literature though. Yeah, I really don't know. I'm going to guess I feel like some of the books that I'm aware of were published mid-century, mid-20th century. And I don't know much about before that.
Yeah. So there have been a couple sort of quote unquote golden ages of children's literature, and they are all pretty recent, right? Like the idea of children's lit as A, big business,
Yeah.
and B, important, shall we say.
That would I think would be a big one.
Those are both fairly recent inventions.
Yeah.
Definitely like after the 1900s, we are getting into like peak children's lit.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, we're in a really interesting place right now with children's literature.
Are you including young adult literature in children's literature?
Well, so young adult literature
That's
is
even
like
newer.
a newer invention still.
Yeah.
You didn't really... YA, as we understand it, is very new, because it used to be you had children's books, like picture books, right? You're reading to a child, and then the child learns to read them. And then you had kind of early reader, intermediate reader books. And this idea of young adult fiction, which is theoretically meant for children kind of over 12
Yeah.
and under 18.
Used to be you just read The Babysitter's Club until then all of a sudden you read Catcher in the Rye, and then you just read grown-up books.
Yeah, correct. That
Yeah.
is exactly how that used to work. And one of the things that I find so interesting is how much the kind of goalposts have moved since children's literature became a thing.
Sure.
So going all the way back, right, to
Take me back.
the birth of literacy, to when we start writing stuff for funsies in English.
Oh,
So like
real far back.
So going back to sort of medieval England,
Oh.
right? And I want to be very clear at the top that we are talking exclusively about English language literature. I did not have the time nor bandwidth to look into...
There's a lot of languages.
There's a lot of languages. There's a
Yeah.
lot of cultures.
Yeah.
So we're talking strictly about English language literature at
Sure.
the moment.
Yes.
So medieval England, most people are not learning how to read.
No.
But some of them are. And children are taught to read quite young, if they're going to be taught to read.
Like rich kids?
Mostly rich kids. Well, some rich kids, mostly children destined for the church.
Ah,
Right.
yes.
So you are basically you are learning to read if you are like in a monastery.
Okay. Yeah.
Or if you are a little rich kid, you are also being educated probably in some kind of ecclesiastical fashion.
Yeah, it's all religion.
And so children are basically learning to read like Psalms, prayer books,
Yeah.
the Bible.
The Bible.
The earliest things that are kind of made explicitly and intentionally for children are horn books, which aren't books per se. They're like tablets with like the alphabet at the top. Usually like lowercase, uppercase alphabet, and then like a prayer or some kind of a rhyme, like a sentence underneath.
I feel like I saw this cross stitch at my grandmother's house.
Cross stitches are very much the same visual
Format.
Yeah.
Okay.
that would also be like an expensive gift you would give to a child. Be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, here's your horn book." And
Bad name, can I say?
they're made of horn.
Can we? Oh, okay.
Yes.
What do you mean made of horn?
They're hard. They're like tablets, basically. They're not. That's why I said book is kind of a misnomer. Like they're not. It's not a book that you're opening. It's like a
What kind of horn?
goat.
How
I
do you-
don't.
But they're not that big. You just introduced a whole new problem in my brain. No, okay, I'm just gonna forget that.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
Tablets.
Just right over it. I don't have
Yeah.
the time for this.
Okay, the medieval iPad for the children.
Yes, the medieval iPad. And basically the minute that they can put words together,
Mhm.
you're done. Like you're moving on. You are not we're not around with children's books. It's time for you to read it at a big boy level.
Yeah, read the Bible.
And this state of affairs persists up through the end of the 1500s, the early 1600s. If you look at curricula for the time, of all, they're reading in Latin.
Oh,
A lot of the time, they're reading in Latin or
ugh.
Greek.
Yeah. Yikes.
And they are being assigned at like 7 years old. They're reading like Virgil.
Jesus Christ.
Like, and it's funny because I was looking over a curriculum from the time, and it was like, well, we're gonna do, it's like like Aesop's Fables is in there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's funny and it'll help them retain things.
I read Aesop's Fables when I was a kid.
But Aesop's Fables are not meant for children. And one of the things that we forget is Aesop's Fables, and then as we coast into the 1600s, children are reading fairy tales, they're reading folk tales. Those are not considered for children.
Yeah.
Everyone is reading them.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do, they're not considered specifically children's fiction.
That makes sense because they were dark.
Yes, and that's the thing. They're not aimed at kids, they're aimed at everybody.
Yeah.
They are easier reading for kids
Mhm.
than, say, a treatise on the fall of the Roman Empire. So they are commonly read by children, but they're also just kind of read by everyone.
Yeah.
And especially getting into the 1600s, as literacy becomes much more common
Mhm.
and everyone is reading, you get an explosion of chapbooks.
I've heard you say that term before.
They are cheap. They are sort of magazine length.
Okay.
And they can be printed and distributed at a very low cost. And
Yeah.
they are very much the kind of pulp or popular fiction of their day.
Okay.
And you get romances, you get adventure stories, you get fairy tales and folk tales. And again, kids are reading these, but so are adults.
Yeah.
Everyone's reading the same shit.
Yeah.
The only things, by the 1600s, the only things being made explicitly for children really are conduct books.
Oh.
So the first books for kids
Mhm.
are like lesson books and conduct books.
Yeah.
And again, it's lots of stuff that rhymes.
Mhm.
It's going to be, like early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, which everyone attributes to Ben Franklin and was in fact circulating for hundreds of years before he was born.
Yeah. We attribute a lot to Ben Franklin.
We attribute some crazy shit to all kinds of people. And
Well said.
Didn't Read It, the podcast is here to tell you that if you see a quote on the internet, just don't believe it. It's actually easier to just assume that they are all fake.
Yeah. No, they're all by Ben Franklin.
And they are all also impossible to source now
Yeah.
because of the slopification of the internet.
Uh-huh.
So just give up on quoting people. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just make up your own bon mots. Or steal them. Attribute them to yourself. No one can stop you anymore.
Attribute them to me. I'll take them.
Just start quoting Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say all kinds of shit. I can't stop saying shit.
Throw it on like a nice background with like some trees.
Yeah.
And like a gray filter over top.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Print out a nice poster.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Put it on a t-shirt.
And just attribute it to Lee.
Yeah, I could have said it.
Yeah. I saw one the other day that was so bad. And it was like a sign someone had taken a picture of a sign like in public. And it was like, kindness is a language that the deaf can it was something really stupid that was being attributed to Shakespeare. And it was just like, bruh. Bruv. No.
You know, Shakespeare originally said live, laugh, love. A lot of people don't know that.
That's true.
It's in one of his lesser known plays.
Shakespeare also originally said around and find out.
Yeah. Well, you know, that I believe, actually.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That was another one. That's in The Taming of the Shrew, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petruchio.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I was in Taming of the Shrew, actually.
I believe it was Macbeth who said FOMO.
YOLO, no FOMO. Yeah.
Anyway, so conduct books. Lots of rhyming lessons, but not fiction being created for children. Does that
Yes.
make sense as a delineation?
Yes, it does.
That does not appear until the end of the 1600s, but really the end of the 1700s.
That's still earlier than I thought.
And the tipping point is
Ben Franklin.
Yes.
Thank
no.
you. Episode over.
Child mortality.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So by the end of the 1600s, for various reasons, in part like the expansion of cities and things, and there's a lot of factors at play.
Mm-hmm.
But by the late 1600s, England has a sort of aging population. Like
Okay.
there are fewer babies being born than there are people dying.
Uh-oh.
So there just aren't that many children rattling around the place.
Yeah.
Additionally, infant mortality quite high.
Quite high.
Quite high.
Yeah.
Through the 15 and 1600s.
Yeah.
By the end of the 1600s, we hit a bit of a turning point for a number of reasons,
Science.
including the advent of the first vaccination for smallpox for the first time.
I wanted to make a joke, but I didn't have one ready. I know you were waiting for one. I couldn't think of one.
Who needs a vaccination?
Everyone.
Yes, well, it turns out when you start vaccinating your children for smallpox, fewer of them die. And enough so that England, by the end of the 1700s, is actually experiencing like kind of a baby boom.
Too many babies.
No, it's fine. It's a good number of babies.
Okay.
But for the first time in like about 100 years,
Yeah.
there are more babies being born than there are people dying. And in fact, by the 1770s,
Mm-hmm.
England's population growth is outstripping that of the rest of Europe.
Ooh.
England is doing great. There are
Yeah.
babies everywhere.
You can't walk down the street without tripping on a baby.
People's children aren't dying.
Because that's great. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic development.
Yeah.
And because they're not dying, all of a sudden
What do we do?
they can be catered to.
Yeah.
You can buy them things because they're
Yeah.
surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can make a little money off them.
Well, and that is exactly the conclusion drawn by John
Benjamin
Newbury.
Franklin.
Nope, John Newbury.
John Newbury.
Who you may have heard of, insofar as you've probably heard of the award with his name on it.
Oh, the Newbery Award.
Yes.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Yes, that is named for this John Newbury.
Well, that goes back really far.
Uh-huh, much older than I expected.
Yeah.
I was like, surely not that Newbury. It is that Newbury.
Is that award still given out in England? I always assumed it was an American award. I've never looked into it.
Weirdly, it is an American award.
What?
Yeah.
Huh. What about the Caldecott Medal? My mom was a child's librarian.
Oh, the Caldecott Award is also for okay, the Caldecott Award is for an American picture book.
Meh.
I think the Newbery Medal doesn't have to be given to an American book. It's just, oh no, that's also American. Okay, the Newbery Medal and the Caldecott Award, both American.
But John Newbery was British.
He was.
Okay.
I don't know why they chose him, actually.
We'll come back to it.
I mean, I do insofar as, and this is the story we are telling, Newbery kind of invents, like, the idea of a children's publishing house.
Smart.
And kind of invents the notion of, like, children's books as both a thing that you should be buying for your kids and as an industry.
Man, he really paved the way for a real beast of an industry a couple hundred years later.
Yes.
He knew what Target was doing with his legacy.
And it was a real beast of an industry for him because
Sure.
in the mid to late 1700s, you do not have, you're still dealing with a lot of people who are kind of like gentleman authors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do not have a ton of people who are earning a living purely from writing books.
Okay.
And even John Newbury was not earning a living purely from publishing books, although he had a prolific little publishing empire, about a third of which was children's books.
Oh, only a third.
This man was pumping books out. Like it was his goddamn job.
Industrious.
He was. And there's actually, let me see. There's a list in the end of the book that we're going to talk about of the other books available. Like, this is another thing that is much older than I realized. In the back of the children's book we're going to discuss today is a list of all the other children's books that you can buy, along with their price.
Yeah, that's still in children's books and like
Yes.
chapter books and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts here.
Smart. Honestly, I mean, that's smart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that this was standard for the day.
Okay.
But it is funny to think about it being done explicitly in children's books, much like, you know, how they put like children's cereal towards the bottom of the shelf. They're
Yeah.
just like, your kid can read now, which means they can ask you for things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there is a list of 42 books for children in the back of this book for children that Newbury has published
You gotta
and is
collect 'em all.
advertising for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this man has an empire. But what we are discussing today was Newbury's first kind of smash hit.
Ooh.
Like, it was not the first book written for children. It was not Newbury's first book written for children. But it was probably the first children's book that achieved kind of ubiquity.
Blockbuster.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like acclaimed and massively popular
Yeah.
to the point where I have a facsimile of the edition from 1882. So this book is published in 1765.
Oh, wow.
I have a facsimile of an edition from 1882 that talks about, like, you know, your grandparents remember this book.
Wow.
Like, it was
The Lion King.
Jane Austen had a copy.
Oh.
Like, it was very, very influential.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is kind of the Disney the Disney movie of its day. And
Dying.
and this book is called,
Oh, boy. How long is the title?
you ready?
I think so.
The History of
Oh, boy.
Little Goody Two-Shoes,
Oh.
otherwise called Mrs. Marjorie Two-Shoes.
Well, I guess that's where the phrase comes from.
It is.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's a long title.
it is. Yeah. And that is the adventure that I'm going to take you on today.
Mrs. Marjorie Two Shoes.
We're going to find out where the phrase Goody Two-Shoes comes from.
Okay.
The actual full title is
Oh, my God.
The History of Little Goody Two-Shoes, otherwise called Mrs. Marjorie Two-Shoes, with the means by which she acquired her learning and wisdom, and in consequence thereof her estate, set forth at large for the benefit of those who from a state of rags and care, and having shoes but half a pair, their fortune and their fame would fix, and gallop in a coach and six. See the original manuscript in the Vatican at Rome, and the cuts by Michelangelo, illustrated with the comments of our great modern critics. That's a joke.
Okay. I was like, hold on.
That's a joke. And so you can see, it's one of the things I really appreciate about this is it is tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm.
It is making fun of itself. It is self-consciously aping kind of elevated adult literature.
Yeah.
And you can tell that that's a thing children would have found funny.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is just a very charming thing to see echoing through the ages.
Yeah.
It opens with an introduction that is not meant for children,
Okay.
or possibly is. It's really interesting. One of the things that is very hard for me to tell about this book And I think it's one of those things where the answer is kind of just yes. But, like, it is hard to tell how much this is meant to be read to a child and how much this is meant to be read by the children.
I mean, that's still children's media to this day.
Right.
Where, you know, like, you throw in jokes for the parents, you throw in jokes for the kids, like, stuff goes over the kids' heads. You want to keep, the most successful things are, like, things that keep parents entertained as well, so they don't mind watching it 20 times in a row.
Yes, or reading it 20 times in a row.
Yeah, this is a book podcast.
And so it opens with an introduction by the editor. All the world must allow that Two Shoes was not her real name.
Oh.
No, her father's name was Meanwell, and he was for many years a considerable farmer in the parish where Marjorie was born. But by the misfortunes which he met with in business, and the wicked persecutions of Sir Timothy Gripe, and an overgrown farmer called Grassball, he was effectually ruined.
No.
I know. The editor's introduction goes on to say that the parish where the Madewell family had lived for a long time was 12 different farms.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the lord of the manor has died, and it has passed into the hands of Sir Timothy.
Oh no, Grassball?
So Farmer Grassball
Okay.
and Sir Timothy Gripe.
Gripe.
Another proud tradition of children's literature.
Yeah, is explanatory names.
But Sir Timothy Gripe, it says, thought it less trouble to write 1 receipt for his rent than 12. And Farmer Grassball offered to take all the farms as the leases expired. And in the process of time, Grassball was possessed of every farm, but that occupied by little Marjorie's father, which he also wanted.
He is grasping them all.
He is. So the farms are all being consolidated, and Marjorie's father is the lone holdout.
Yeah.
And it says that Sir Timothy Gripe, who is in league with Farmer Grassball, illegally attempts to evict Marjorie's father, who pushes back and takes him to court and wins in court. But it says, complaints indeed were made, but to what purpose are complaints when brought against a man who can hunt, drink, and smoke with the lord of the manor, who is also the justice of peace?
Oh no.
Yes. And so despite the lawsuits being successful, the law was so expensive that Marjorie's father was ruined in the contest and obliged to give up all he had to his creditors.
No.
Ah, my dear reader, we brag of liberty and boast of our laws, but the blessings of the one and the protection of the other seldom fall to the lot of the poor, and especially when a rich man is their adversary. How, in the name of goodness, can a poor wretch obtain redress when 30 pounds are insufficient to try his cause? Where is he to find money to seek counsel? Or how can he plead his cause himself, even if he was permitted, when our laws are so obscure and so multiplied that an abridgment of them cannot be contained in 50 volumes in folio?
I fear this is very relevant to modern day.
Nothing ever changes.
Nothing really changes.
This children's book.
To me.
So
oh no.
This children's book opens with basically like a treatise on the consolidation of farms into a small number of wealthy hands rather than providing a reasonable living for a larger number of middle-class hands.
Yeah.
And a lengthy aside on how the legal system is fucked because a rich person can just keep causing you legal problems until you run out of money to resist them, even if you are in the right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Learn it young.
Again, this is 1765.
Jeez.
So Marjorie's father is driven into destitution.
Mm-hmm.
He loses the farm. He's driven out of the parish. This is still just the introduction.
Yeah, this is the editor's note.
And the introduction ends like this. Just what, says the reader, can occasion all this? Do you intend this for children, Mr. Newbury?
Children need to know the truth.
And it says, this is not the book, sir, mentioned in the title, but the introduction of that book. And it is intended, sir, not for those sort of children, but for children of 6 feet high, of which, as my friend has justly observed, there are many millions in the kingdom. And these reflections, sir, have been rendered necessary by the unaccountable and diabolical scheme which many gentlemen now give into, of laying a number of farms into one, and very often a whole parish into one farm, which, in the end, must reduce the common people to a state of vassalage worse than that under the barons of old, or of the clans in Scotland, and will in time depopulate the kingdom.
Preach. Preach. It's true.
It is. It's also exactly what happened in the United States.
Yeah.
Like a solid 100 years later.
Yeah.
Well, 200 years later. No, 110?
Could we just say ongoing?
Yep.
Yeah. The tradition continues.
And so you can see why I'm like, I don't know who this is for, because it really does pretty overtly at the end say, like, I just wanted to kick off with a little political rant. Anyway, here's your children's book.
Yeah.
Which would, can you imagine if, like, Goodnight Moon opened with an introduction just for grown-ups, like, decrying the evils of capitalism?
I wish it would.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Or if, like, a Disney film opened with one of the animators strolling on screen and just being like, hey, while I have you really quick.
A good evening.
Yes, the Masterpiece Theater introduction. Yeah. Just Alan Cummings in an armchair before, like, The Lion King being like, and furthermore, ice must be abolished.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's not wrong.
I would have appreciated such knowledge when I was a child.
And now for your screening of Moana.
Yeah. I mean, you know, indigenous sovereignty in the Pacific. In the Pacific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And part of me thinks that this is, I mean, obviously John Newbury is just kind of, he's entertaining himself a little bit, which is not to say he doesn't believe these things. A part of me also thinks that this is very early in children's literature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like he is trying to give the parents the information they need to answer the inevitable questions of their offspring about, like, well, why did her father wind up homeless, Daddy?
Yeah.
And so
why couldn't they just give him his farm back?
He gives you this, like, very dense backstory.
Yeah.
Before he launches into the actual story for children.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's all the background information. So you have it.
That does feel like conversations I had with my my father.
Right. Right.
I was like, well, why is it like this? And he's like, it just is.
As we're going to learn as we go through this book, Newbury has a lot of faith in children and very little in adults.
Same. I'm liking Newbury more and more.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what he's putting down.
And so this brings us to the actual story about Marjorie.
Okay.
And her brother, her poor brother.
Oh.
And so the actual chapter 1 for children opens, care and discontent shortened the days of little Marjorie's father. He was forced from his family and seized with a violent fever in a place where Dr. James's powder was not to be had, and where he died miserably.
Oh, no.
I like that there's a little ad in there.
Yeah. It would have fixed all of his ails.
Marjorie's poor mother also dies horribly.
Jeez.
It makes sure that we know that as she's dying, she keeps looking up to gaze upon her orphan children and then dies. Yeah.
Goodbye.
And so soon it's just little Marjorie and Timmy all alone in the world. Here's an illustration of Marjorie and Timmy.
Oh, now I can picture it.
Yeah. And it says they were both very ragged. Sorry, not Timmy, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
They were both very ragged, and Tommy had 2 shoes, but Marjorie had but 1.
Oh, you got to trade them off every other day.
They had nothing, poor things, to support them, but what they picked from the hedges, or got from the poor people, and they lay every night in a barn. Their relations took no notice of them. No, they were rich and ashamed to own such a poor little ragged girl as Marjorie, and such a dirty little curly-haired boy as Tommy.
So they had living family?
Our relations and friends seldom take notice of us when we are poor, but as we grow rich, they grow fond. And this will always be the case, while people love money better than virtue, or better than they do God Almighty.
Well, that answers that question. Asked and answered. Thanks, Newbury.
Yeah, Newbury, again, very little faith in adults.
Yeah.
And that's basically chapter 1. These are very, very short.
Okay.
It's kind of funny that it's broken into chapters at all. But if you look at the actual, this is printed off of Project Gutenberg, but if you look at the actual chapter book, it's,
Well, I can see how it could be designed.
Yeah, and for just for small children.
Yeah. I just love how he's like, I know exactly what question the child is going to ask at this point, and before the parents can skirt around it, here is the answer.
And the answer is rich people are douchebags.
Yeah.
Signed, me, John Newbury. Now, little Marjorie and Tommy have a stroke of luck.
Okay.
And are taken in by Mr. Smith,
Okay.
who is the clergyman of the parish that their father was driven to death in.
Okie dokie.
And he takes them in and promptly ships Tommy off to sea, where he belongs.
Huh?
This is portrayed as a good thing.
Tommy belongs to the sea?
Well, it is still 1765, and if you are a boy child and all of your relatives are dead, it's time to get to work.
On the ocean.
As a sailor.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yep.
Good luck to you, Tommy.
That's chapter...
Goodbye.
That's chapter 2.
Okay.
Bye, buddy.
Don't get sunburned.
Chapter 3, Marjorie gets some shoes.
One more shoe?
So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the clergyman and his wife, having taken them in and disposed of Tommy, which again is a good thing.
Okay. Taking your word for it.
They have also taken the liberty of ordering Marjorie a pair of shoes.
Wow.
And
generous.
She's running around the village crying because Tommy has left.
I thought it was a good thing.
Well, it was. we the reader know it's a good thing.
It'll
she's
build his character.
Yeah. Thankfully, though, to interrupt her distress, the shoemaker arrives.
It's crazy to think about going through all that back then to get a pair of shoes made with kids, and she's gonna grow out of them in like 2 months.
I think that they made them differently then. Like,
Okay.
they made them too big.
Made them expandable.
And you would put, like, rags and fabric and stuff in them.
Okay. Because I'd be like,
Also-
you're not getting shoes until you're 14.
It is very unclear how old Marjorie is.
Okay.
She's just a child, very generically.
Yeah.
She could be anywhere between 7 and 14.
Okay.
But it says, nothing could have supported little Marjorie under the affliction she was in for the loss of her brother, but the pleasure she took in her 2 shoes.
Well, new pair of shoes make you feel pretty good.
She ran out to Mrs. Smith as soon as they were put on, and stroking down her ragged apron thus, cried out, 2 shoes, ma'am, see? 2 shoes! And so she behaved to all the people she met, and by that means obtained the name of Goody Two-Shoes.
How did it? No, there's more. There's more to come.
So we have 2 shoes now. It's very exciting.
It is.
And we are immediately thrown out of the parish.
Huh? What? The clergyman too, or just her?
Sir Timothy finds out that they've been taken in by Mr. and Mrs. Smith and forces them to throw Marjorie out.
Why is he so evil?
Because he's embarrassed at having her around as a reminder of his...
What he did.
Yes.
Oh, he's insecure.
Yes. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith feel that they have no choice because he could just ruin their lives as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to be a man of God.
Well, they panic.
Yeah.
And it portrays them fairly sympathetically. But Sir Timothy has all the power in this situation. It is 1765. He basically owns them.
Yeah. This really sucks for Marjorie.
Yeah, so she gets kicked out and has nowhere to go.
Dang.
Now on to chapter 4.
All right. Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Let's keep it going.
So little Marjorie, who is now once again on her own, but at least she has shoes now.
2.
2 of them.
Yeah.
She's got 2 shoes.
Not just one.
It says, little Marjorie saw how good and how wise Mr. Smith was, and concluded that this was owing to his great learning. Therefore, she wanted of all things to learn to read. For this purpose, she used to meet the little boys and girls as they came from school, borrow their books, and sit down and read till they returned. By this means, she soon got more learning than any of her playmates.
Ha.
So Marjorie's not taking this shit lying down.
No.
Marjorie teaches herself to read. And then, and this is a little convoluted, and it makes a lot of sense as a children's book that's clearly also meant to kind of have some like exercises in it. She carves her own alphabets. She like carves wooden alphabets.
Uh-huh.
And it says that she basically plays a game with the other children where you like throw the wooden letters down and then you put them in order, you know?
Okay.
To like get the alphabet right.
Yeah, smart. Great game. It sounds like a fun game.
And she becomes a freelance wandering teacher.
Now, how old is she at this point?
Unclear.
Also, I was distracted momentarily by the thought that there were schools at this time.
Yes.
Children's schools, elementary
yeah.
schools, public schools
I believe so, yeah.
in the 1760s.
I think you had to pay for them, but yeah.
Okay.
But that's why Marjorie Two Shoes is such a good person, because she will teach children who can't afford to be taught.
Yeah.
She's just an itinerant.
An itinerant child.
An itinerant literacy provider.
Yeah.
Who is, yes, a child. Maybe a tween at this point? Unclear. The point is, she is good with letters.
Mm-hmm.
And they describe a game in here that I kind of think sounds, I don't know, fairly entertaining, especially for children of a certain age. The game is that all the children stand in a circle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's spelling bee-esque.
Okay.
All the children stand in a circle, and Marjorie shouts a word, and then the children go around the circle spelling it. And if you get a letter wrong, you're out.
That does sound like a fun game.
Yeah, and then you just keep going until somebody wins, I guess.
I think kids would like that.
Right, sounds fun. And then I'll show you. You can see there's a whole thing that is clearly meant to help children.
Oh,
Like with the alphabet, and there's this whole thing where like there's multiple chapters where she is visiting different children to give them their lessons, and the lessons are described, and then the lesson is in the book.
yeah. So the reader is getting the lesson as well.
Because books are expensive in the 1760s,
Yeah.
and so they need to be multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Which is why we also take a break in the middle for a bunch of, what do you call them?
Poems.
Not like an adage, basically, like a.
Yeah. Sayings.
When they're religious, they're called psalms, but I don't know what they are when they're. I think that's what the psalms are, right? Not the psalms then.
No.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Anyway, it just calls them lessons, and so like as an example, it's like, a wise head makes a close mouth. Don't burn your lips with another man's broth. Wit is folly unless a wise man hath the keeping of it. Use soft words and hard arguments. To forget a wrong is the best revenge. And these are clearly meant to be memorized. They're also clearly meant to help children practice reading.
Yeah. That's crazy that they got all of those Benjamin Franklin sayings like so quickly across the pond, and were able to like publish it widely in a book.
Yeah.
He really was just prolific.
And there's some good reminders in here,
I like those. I like the best, not living well is the best revenge. Forgetting the wrong is the best.
Yeah, to forget a wrong is the best revenge. We also have when a man talks much, believe but half what he says.
Yeah.
Fair words, butter no parsnips.
Now, what does that mean? Explain that to me as though I were a child.
People can talk a lot, but it doesn't get you a buttered parsnip at the end of the day.
I like parsnips.
Yeah. A covetous man is never satisfied.
That's true.
Yeah. Abundance, like want, ruins many.
Okay.
A contented mind is a continual feast.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Good stuff right here.
Yeah. So we take a break just for lessons.
Yeah.
We're practicing our alphabet. We're memorizing little
Adage. I think adage was the right word.
Yeah, we're memorizing adages. There's some religious stuff in there. We're skipping that because that's not what this podcast is about.
No.
But suffice it to say, there's a bunch of stuff in there about,
Sure.
preparing for death. That is a thing. As a quick aside, that was a thing in children's literature leading up to this point, and it does emerge just a teeny bit in this, which is just like,
you're gonna die.
well, but more specifically, it's like you could die at any time.
YOLO.
I know that you are 7.
Yeah.
But I need to know that your soul is right with the Lord, and your soul needs to be right with the Lord at all times.
Yeah.
Because you are gonna die.
Yeah.
Maybe soon. Maybe not soon, but maybe soon. So
learn it young.
One of them is learn to live as you would wish to die.
Oh my.
Yes.
Not a bad. I mean, that's good advice.
Sure. I don't know if I would give it to a small child.
Sure. Well, with mortality rates what they were at the time,
I'm just not sure children under a certain age are really capable of grasping their own mortality. I think this is a fruitless endeavor.
well, maybe
really.
we don't give modern kids enough credit.
Maybe not. I mean, I do actually think we don't give modern kids enough credit.
Yeah. I was raised Catholic. I thought about hell a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
How old were you, though? Because it's important to remember that this is aimed at pretty young kids.
Yeah.
Like sub 10, because
Oh, I was sub 10 for sure.
they're getting formal schooling.
That was the only reason I behaved well.
Yeah.
Was because I was scared of going to hell.
This is aimed, I think, at children who are like just learning to read, which
Yeah.
would have made them like 5.
Yeah.
I just don't know if 5-year-olds can really grasp. Anyway,
I think we should bring it back.
for this episode, I read a good chunk of it's very good. It's an Oxford University Press, children's literature and illustrated history.
You're holding it up to show me, but the cover is completely blank.
I was reading the spine.
Okay. I was like, it looks nice.
That was not for your benefit. That's because I needed to read something.
Okay.
But in the book they talked about how it was like a kind of a fad among the Puritans to try and teach your children, like, instead of getting hung up on their first word, you would teach them a first phrase.
Okay.
The more religious, the better.
Oh.
And one of them was learn to die.
Isn't that a Lana Del Rey song?
Because the Puritans were insane.
That is bananas.
Can you imagine walking into a room with a Puritan toddler, like, probably pale, underfed, it's like dark, it's kind of smoky, and this child that can barely speak lisps at you in the dark.
At the foot of your bed.
Learn to die.
You're like, ah! Am I going to right now? That's some horror movie shit for sure.
So yeah, a trend from children's literature that had not completely disappeared by Newbury's point, but thankfully was more muted.
I saw online recently. Yeah, like I wish this is not gonna be helpful. You can cut this out.
What were you gonna say?
It was something that was like, what's a phrase that like changed, that like ruined your life, basically, like changed everything, but like in a kind of way when you read it, and someone responded with, how you spend your days is how you spend your life.
Yeah.
And that's like, I've thought of it every single day since then. And that's what not learn to die, not that one, but the other one that you said before that.
Learn to live as you would wish to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that, again, things have improved by the 1760s. Look, the Enlightenment is happening, right? We've got, we're starting to think of people as people. We're leaving Calvinism behind. It's a much nicer world in the 1760s than it is in the 1660s.
Learn to die. Learn to die, Daddy. Oh, God.
All right. Speaking of death.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Marjorie.
We're on to chapter 6 now.
Okay.
Which opens, who does not know Lady Ducklington? or who does not know that she was buried at this parish church?
Oh.
Oh. Well, I never saw so grand a funeral in all my life, but the money they squandered away would have been better laid out in little books for children, or in meat, drink, and clothes for the poor.
Agreed.
So, someone fancy has died,
Mm-hmm.
and we've thrown a big funeral, and everyone in the surrounding country has come to see the burial because they know it's going to be a big thing.
Show.
And that night, around 4 o'clock in the morning, it says, the bells were heard to jingle in the steeple, which frightened the people prodigiously, who all thought it was Lady Ducklington's ghost dancing among the bell ropes.
Ooh.
And so everyone has been awakened, and they all rush to Will Dobbins's house, who is the clerk, and they're all saying, you know, go find out what's going on. Why are the bells ringing in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
And William flat out refuses.
Not a bad instinct.
He says that he's sure it's a ghost, and he is not opening any doors. And finally, the rector gets out of bed and is like, what the is going on? And
what is a rector? That's an unfortunate word.
the rector is like he's in charge of the church.
Is it like a priest?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's the Church of England. You're Catholic.
Yeah.
Basically, don't worry about it. He's responsible
Okay.
for the church.
It just sounds like rectum.
Well, look, lots of things do.
Sure.
Rectify.
Okay.
Rectangle.
Okay. Okay. Go on.
And William says that if he is forced to unlock the church, he's surely going to be frightened out of his wits. And his wife hops on and is like, you can't, like, you're not letting no ghost murder my husband
Yeah.
kind of arrangement.
Standing in front of him while he like peeks over her shoulder.
Very much. That is very much the vibe. Like,
Yeah.
it's the everyone's standing around in a crowd and it's all just very Scooby-Doo, like a ghost.
Yeah. She's like, he said he wanted oat milk or whatever that meme is.
And the rector loses his patience and snatches the keys and unlocks the church. And what it says, as soon as he had opened the door, what sort of a ghost do ye think appeared? Why, little Two Shoes,
Oh boy.
who apparently, being weary from all of her itinerant teaching,
Mm-hmm.
had fallen asleep during the funeral and was accidentally locked in the church overnight. And she apologizes profusely.
So she was ringing the bell so to have someone let her out?
Correct.
Okay.
Because she apologizes profusely and she's so sorry for being a bother, but she had gotten very cold.
Ah.
It is the middle of the night and the church is stone and it's freezing and she would like to be let out, please. So she
Fair.
rang the bells
Mm-hmm.
and asked to be let out.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that all of the people are ashamed to ask her too many questions in front of the rector. But as soon as the rector leaves, they're like, what did you see in the church? Was it a ghost? Was there a ghost? You saw a ghost, right? And so then she tells them her story. It's like her tale.
Oh.
And she describes, and again, remembering that this is didactic literature for children, right?
Yes.
So we get this whole story and it's about, she wakes up, she's alone, it's the middle of the night, she's frightened, it's dark, she can't see anything. And her first instinct, of course, is to pray. And as she's praying, she feels something very, very cold like marble on the back of her neck.
Mm.
And so she gets up and she goes forward. And I'm having a hard time with the layout of the church, mostly because I don't know the architectural terms for churches very well. But she heads for the pulpit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll be safer at the pulpit. And as and I guess there's a door through which she goes. And as she's heading to the pulpit, she then feels something very, very cold on her hand.
Ooh.
And she's like, she's obviously very frightened. And then she gets to the pulpit and she shuts the door behind her. I think maybe she's going into the pulpit. Like some
the
pulpits
raised.
are like big. Yeah. And they
got
have
a little
doors
gate around them, little
Yeah.
fancy little fence.
And it says that after she shuts the door to the pulpit, she hears something like pulling and pushing on the door. Right?
It's like an open pulpit. It could just float over the top, but okay.
Well, and it says, at last I found out the pulpit, and having shut to the door, I laid me down on the mat and cushion to sleep, when something thrust and pulled at the door, as I thought for admittance, which prevented my going to sleep. At last it cried, bow, wow, wow, and I concluded it must be Mr. Saunderson's dog. So she's been locked.
Woof.
There was also a dog locked in the church, and that is what has been... There's a cold dog nose on the back of her neck
Oh.
and on her hand, and that's what was rattling the door. And as soon as she figures out it's the dog, she lets the dog in, and they curl up together and take a very nice nap.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cute. Bow wow wow.
And so everything is fine. And it says, "After this, my dear children, I hope you will not believe any foolish stories that ignorant, weak, or designing people may tell you about ghosts. For the tales of ghosts, witches, and fairies are the frolics of a distempered brain."
Is this what she's saying to the townspeople?
This is what the author is saying
Oh.
to the reader.
Okay. I was like, Marjorie.
Well, she does give everyone advice about how basically, like, she is like, you're not supposed to be afraid of churches because ghosts aren't real, and a church is a godly place, and you shouldn't be frightened in a church because it's where God lives.
Okay.
And it says, "No wise man ever saw either of them. Little Marjorie, you see, was not afraid. No, she had good sense and a good conscience, which is a cure for all of these imaginary evils."
Congratulations.
Yeah, again, John Newbury, lots of faith in children, not so much in adults,
Right.
which is a trend that's going to continue.
Okay.
Because the next adventure that Marjorie goes on is giving like Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys.
Ooh.
She's in a barn at night,
Yeah.
and because of a storm, she's taking shelter from a storm.
Ah.
And she's all bundled up in the straw. And a band of thieves take shelter in the barn. And she overhears them saying that they're going to rob Sir William Dove and
no.
Sir Timothy Gripe.
Well, that's fine.
Uh-huh. And so she goes and warns Sir William Dove. And she tries to go and warn Sir Timothy Gripe. And what do you think happens?
He arrests her.
He will not listen to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too busy griping.
And she, because she's a very good person, instead of just leaving him to it, she waits and she goes to see Sir Timothy Gripe's wife.
What does she say?
She's like, "Thank you for letting me know."
Yeah.
And then they set guards and the thieves are arrested.
Ha-ha.
Ha-ha! And little Marjorie's reputation is made.
Oh.
Because she's saved Sir William Dove from being robbed.
Yes.
And he gets her a teaching position at a college.
And at this point, she is 11.
Yes.
We've got a Doogie Howser MD situation going on here.
Yep. And so Sir William goes out of his way to make arrangements for her because he says that, she's saved him from being robbed and he can't continue to let her sleep in barns.
Yeah.
And it says, "But Sir Timothy only said that he was ashamed to owe his life to the daughter of one who was his enemy. So true it is that a proud man seldom forgives those he has injured."
His enemy? He thinks of her dad as his enemy?
He does. And
That
so
is cuckoo.
that is the end of part 1. That is the end of the first half of Marjorie's story.
Oh.
She's been
The
made
first shoe.
she's been made principal of a country college.
Good
and,
for her.
And all is well in Marjorie's world.
For now.
And I do think so. The book is divided into parts 1 and 2, and I think part 1 is meant to be for children who are a little bit younger, and I think part 2 is meant to be for children who are a little bit older.
Does
if
it
that
does it
makes
get
sense.
more difficult?
It gets a little more complicated.
Okay.
And so part 2, it says, "Here ends the history of Little Two Shoes. Those who would know how she behaved after she came to be Mrs. Marjorie Two Shoes must read the second part of this work, in which an account of the remainder of her life, her marriage, and death are set forth at large, according to Act of Parliament."
Okay.
Now, what do you think happens to Miss Marjorie Two Shoes now that she's a full grown up? Because I think that is what this is Marjorie as an adult.
Yeah. Does she lose some of her moral scruples?
You are correct.
Really?
She acquires a bunch of animal companions and is accused of witchcraft. How did you guess?
Oh, that is what I said. Is that what happens?
Yes.
How? She. Okay.
So
Okay.
she adopts.
Is that how she dies?
So she adopts and teaches to read
No.
a,
No.
a rook
This completely takes me out of it.
and a pigeon.
I was with you.
And then she adopts a lamb
Cute.
and is given a dog. And so she just has like a whole menagerie.
Yeah.
And they are, and
They're all literate.
honestly, I found it charming to see that the kind of like anthropomorphized animal companion is like a touchstone of children's literature so early.
Yeah.
And obviously like there's biblical precedent for this, right? Like the idea that she is so good and so gentle that the animals themselves cooperate with her. Like that's very Christian. That goes back to a lot of the saints, right? That's a narrative we know.
Yeah.
But it is very fun to see it in a non-religious context that's just like, and then she adopted a baby bird
Yeah.
and taught it to read.
Taught it to read.
And her dog saves her and all of her students from being killed by the collapsing roof of her school, at which point the narrator goes on a lengthy aside about how the government really ought to be inspecting buildings with regularity so that they don't collapse and murder people at random.
It should. Regulation is a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it
So a dog saves your life and then you turn around and accuse it of being a witch dog? I don't know, people.
and so yes, then Marjorie is accused of witchcraft.
By whom?
The townspeople.
The townspeople? I thought they liked her. Is Gripe behind this?
So there's a long portion about Marjorie's thinking cap, which might be the origination of the idea of the thinking cap.
Is it a hat she puts on when she's thinking?
It's a hat that she encourages other people to utilize, that when you are all worked up, you put the thinking cap on and then you don't talk anymore while you're wearing the thinking cap. You just sit and you ponder and you work through your problem, and then you take the thinking cap off and you're calmer and you've arrived at a solution.
I was ready to make fun of the thinking cap because I thought it was something different.
It's honestly, it's a great.
I like the thinking cap.
That's a good.
It's the emotional processing cap.
Yes, basically.
It's the emotional regulation hat.
It goes on like a really long aside about how like I've seen whole families all wearing their thinking caps at once and they were made better people for it.
Okay. I like the thinking cap.
John Newbury, therapist ahead of his time.
Yeah, apparently.
We're yada-yadaing some stuff about the animal companions and the thinking cap, because really the highlight of part 2 is the witch trial.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you get the whole trial.
So
isn't one of the characters in The Crucible named Goody?
yeah, that's just, so Goody is a title, not a name.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's her name's Marjorie.
Yeah, I thought it was a nickname.
Goody is an abbreviation of good wife.
What does good wife mean?
Like good wife Brown. It's just like a
Mrs.?
kind of, yeah. It's like a title, like Goodman Brown,
Oh.
Good Wife Brown,
I thought it was a name for witches.
or like Farmer Brown. No,
Farmer. Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Descriptive?
Yeah, it's a.
What if she's a bad wife?
It's a descriptive title, I guess,
Yeah.
is what you would call it.
Is anybody's named Batty?
And so and it's important to note that when they're calling her Goody Two Shoes as a child, that's a joke.
Oh.
It's kind of like calling her like little old lady Two Shoes or something. You
Yeah.
know, like sometimes you, to be funny, people will give sort of overinflated diminutives to children.
Yeah.
Like, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a joke.
Governor Two Shoes.
That's why by part 2, she's not Goody Two Shoes anymore, because she's a whole ass adult who deserves respect now. Now
Yeah.
she's Mrs. Marjorie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which is interesting because I forget sometimes that Mrs. was not strictly a title that you are always earned by getting married.
Really?
She's not married. They're giving her the title of Mrs. as essentially a sign of respect because she is running a school.
Does she ever get married?
She does.
Oh.
But first.
She gets married after the trial? But who will have her?
So here's the case of Mrs. Marjorie. Are you ready?
Okay.
Mrs. Marjorie, as we have frequently observed, was always doing good and thought she could never sufficiently gratify those who had done anything to serve her. These generous sentiments naturally led her to consult the interest of Mr. Grove and the rest of her neighbors. And as most of their lands were meadow, and they depended much on their hay, which had been for many years greatly damaged by wet weather, she contrived an instrument to direct them when to mow their grass with safety and prevent their hay being spoiled.
So she's smart in the sciences as well.
This made great noise in the country, and so provoked were the people in other parishes, whose hay was not saved, that they accused her of being a witch.
What? What?
And sent Gaffer Goosecap, a busy fellow in other people's concerns, to find out evidence against her. This wiseacre, that's an insult we need to bring back. This wiseacre
it never left.
happened to come to her school when she was walking about with the raven on one shoulder and the pigeon in the other, and the lark on her hand, and the lamb and the dog by her side.
Not looking good.
Which indeed made a droll figure, and so surprised him that he cried out, "A witch! A witch!"
She just happened to be stirring a bubbling cauldron.
Upon this she, laughing, answered, "A conjurer! A conjurer!" And so they parted. So he's like, "A witch!" And she's, because he's a dude, she's basically just like,
a
wizard.
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh. We're just saying nouns.
but it did not end thus, for a warrant was issued against Mrs. Marjorie,
Oh my.
and she was carried to a meeting of the justices, whither all the neighbors followed her.
I hope they defended her because she saved their crops.
And it basically, it's the justices are apparently idiots.
Oh no.
But she gets to make her own defense, and she says, people would defend me, but I never supposed that anyone here could be so weak as to believe there was any such thing as a witch. If I am a witch, this is my charm. And she slams a barometer on the table.
She's smart.
Yeah. Everyone laughs.
Ah,
And
good.
and Sir William Dove asks the accusers how they could be such fools as to think there was any such thing as a witch.
Ya dum-dums.
Yeah. And then he tells a story about another woman.
Who's definitely a witch.
Well, it's interesting because it's like a parable inside a parable. So Sir William Dove in the courtroom then takes us into the secondary story about this old woman in a village who is poor and struggling and old, and as a result gets blamed for everything that goes wrong in her town, even though she's done nothing wrong. And the villagers are on the verge of basically like driving her out of her home and letting her starve to death.
Oh my God.
It says, "You will find that the source from whence witchcraft springs is poverty, age, and ignorance, and that it is impossible for a woman to pass for a witch unless she is very poor, very old, and lives in a neighborhood where the people are void of common sense." Because then her brother dies, this old woman.
Oh. I was like, Tommy?
So this old woman that we're getting this kind of parable within a parable about,
Yeah.
her brother dies, and even though he was apparently a miser in life, it says, though he would not part with a farthing while he lived, at his death was obliged to leave her 5,000 pounds that he could not carry with him. So she's suddenly rich.
Everybody starts changing their tune.
Yes. Like what? It's like, what do you know?
Yeah. They previewed this earlier in the story.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, everyone loves her. Everybody wants to be friends. And it says, "From hence it is plain, as I observed before, that a woman must be very poor, very old, and live in a neighborhood where the people are very stupid before she can possibly pass for a witch."
I like it. We're getting more direct.
Yeah. And Sir William tells this story to the assembled and is basically like, "Are you dummies?"
Love how that's his closing argument to the
Yeah,
jury.
it is.
Stupid.
And then they all feel really stupid.
Good.
And in fact, she gives such a stirring defense of herself that it says all the gentlemen present became enamored with her.
Oh.
Yes. And returned her public thanks for the great service she had done the country. One gentleman in particular, I mean Sir Charles Jones, had conceived such a high opinion of her that he offered a considerable sum to take care of his family and the education of his daughter, which, however, she refused. But this gentleman, sending for her afterwards when he had a dangerous fit of illness, she went, and behaved so prudently in the family, and so tenderly to him and his daughter, that he would not permit her to leave his house, but soon after made her proposals of marriage.
This is like, we just watched The Beautician and the Beast.
Yes.
This is that.
And there's a very funny thing where it's like, he already has a child, and so she won't marry him until he, like, makes legal arrangements protecting the interests of his, like, the financial interests of his child, because she's like, I don't want to be put in the path of temptation.
To take all the money and leave the child destitute?
Yes. Straight up. She's just like, no one should put themselves in the path of temptation. So I won't marry
sure.
you until you've made legal arrangements for the benefit of your child, because I'm a poor bitch.
I love the self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they go to get married, and the day of her wedding,
Oh, boy.
a rich man in a carriage shows up and goes running into the church and shouts, "Stop the wedding! Stop the wedding!" And it's her brother, Tommy,
Oh.
who's made his fortune at sea. And
Okay.
he stops the wedding to be like, you are also rich now. You're both rich. We're both rich.
We're both rich.
And then he lets the wedding go on, but he doesn't want his sister to get married without knowing
Oh,
that she
just
has her
for
own
money.
assets now.
Oh. What if she changed her mind? That'd be wild.
It'd be very funny.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's funny that Newbury threw in that last little thing to be like, and she's not even marrying for money because now she doesn't have to.
Haha.
And we're almost at the end.
Okay.
And that was one chapter, by the way.
All of that?
This is moving quick.
Yeah.
And then Sir Charles dies.
Well,
Because, again, this is 1762.
learn to die. Yeah.
It's like they get married. They're very happy. 6 years passes. She is a widow.
Yeah.
But
It
she's-
happens.
But she's a very happy widow.
Good for her.
And that's more or less it. She has money and a title, and she gets the chance to be a real dick to Sir Timothy Gripe.
Oh, really?
And she isn't really, but she does bail out Mr. Smith. She makes her that he's
He was the rector,
the clergyman.
clergyman.
Yeah.
How does she get back at Gripe a little bit?
She basically helps break up the estate back into different farms.
Haha.
It's like she lives long enough and gets rich enough to like finish out her father's
Yeah.
work of decentralizing the farms that have been under the iron fist of Timothy Gripe and Farmer Grassball,
Yeah.
and to take care of all of her friends, basically. She gives a bunch of money to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She donates a ton of money to the poor.
She just lives the dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's living the dream.
She really did learn to die.
And that's pretty much the end of Goody Two Shoes. There's a weird appendix with a dream in it where she has a dream that's basically the plot of Midas and the Golden Touch.
Huh.
Yeah. But
Okay.
that's basically the end of the book, more or less.
Okay.
Other than the appendix, which is kind of
What do you
strange.
think is the appendix is trying to say?
I think they just threw some extra stuff. Again, these books are meant to be multi-purpose.
Okay.
I think they just threw on an extra, like, you're trying to justify the price of a book,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's just like an extra morality tale
Yeah.
for kids to read.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, it's basically like she has a dream where she's very covetous. Like, now that she has money,
Ah.
she has a dream where she is so enamored of money that everything she touches turns to gold, and it's the same story as the myth, right?
I'm
Where,
realizing
like,
that I don't know the story of the myth.
well, basically, it's the idea is like everything you touch turning to gold sounds good until you start turning people into statues, right?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
You don't actually want everything you touch to turn to gold. It's a very
No.
like straightforward parable about greed.
Okay.
And that's the end.
Congratulations.
And then there's a little fake letter from the printer at the end, which has a couple of bonus stories about dogs saving people.
okay. We love dogs.
And then there's a list of all of the books available. It says, the books usually read by the scholars of Mrs. Two Shoes are these, and are sold at Mr. Newbury's.
We've got lots of holiday books like Christmas box, the New Year's gift, the Easter gift, the Whitsuntide gift. That holiday has not survived to America.
I was a little charmed that shameless cash grab holiday-oriented merchandise goes back that far.
Yeah. 12th Day, Valentine's. We got the Little Pretty Pocketbook. The Infant Tutor, or Pretty Little Spelling Book. I guess that's for like really little kids. Tom Tripp's History of Birds and Beasts. That sounds like a Harry Potter book.
It does.
The Holy Bible Abridged. Fables in Verse and Prose by Aesop. Aesop's Fables. And Your Old Friend Wog Wog. Oh God, there's so many more. Hold
There's so many.
Okay. I know this is not, but I'm going to read it anyway. Philosophy of Tops and Balls. Pretty Poems for Children 3 foot high. Pretty Poems for Children 6 foot high. Now, children 6 foot high.
They being grown-ups.
That is an adult. Yeah. Okay. We got some.
It's a joke.
Went over my head. I need the one for
Silly.
children 3 feet high. That's my level. Got a lot of Christian stuff.
Yeah.
I think all dictionaries should be called this. A pocket dictionary for those who would know the precise meaning of all the words in the English language.
That is the goal.
We got some history books. We have a little book of letters and cards to teach young ladies and gentlemen how to write to their friends in a polite, easy, and elegant manner.
I think we need a reissue of that one.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
time
it's only 1 shilling.
it's time to bring that one back.
Yeah. We got some travel vlogs.
The kids out here don't know how to email. The adults out here don't know how to email. Nobody knows how to email anybody anymore.
Well, seems as though we should release a chat book.
Yeah, it's chapbook time. That's what I'm going to do during the hiatus.
Now, sorry, I didn't mean to breeze right over that, because you should do that. I'm just looking at these. There's another list called By the King's Royal Patent. Oh, wait, I think all of these are like medicines, and they're sold.
Oh, yeah, he did have a small patent medicine empire, apparently. Because back then, careers were purely imaginary, and you could do anything you had the balls to do.
Yeah, because they got a lot of tinctures and pills, including female pills.
Uh-oh.
And British oil.
That's a good thing to advertise in the back of a children's book.
Female pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patent medicines.
Yeah. Daffy's Elixir.
All right.
Get you some of that. I could keep, sorry.
Didn't read it. Brought to you by Daffy's Elixir.
Get Daffy's Elixir at Newbury's Books.
So, that was Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes.
Well, now I know where that name comes from.
The birth of children's literature.
I was impressed. It was different than what I thought it would be. It was a very complete story. It really was the entire life
Yeah.
of Marjorie.
Which, I mean, I suppose was the style at the time. You think about, like, Jonathan Swift and Robinson Crusoe and, like, a lot of those were, like, the history of this person.
Yeah. I appreciate Newbury inserting his political beliefs, which I happen to agree with, into, like, every part of it.
Yeah. One of the things that really struck me about it is, like, children's literature in the intervening, literally, like, centuries has pivoted much more towards, like, we're going to try and sort of create and maintain a sense of magic and kind of, like, the supernatural in opposition to the sort of cold logic of the adult world.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me that this is Newbury being like, I am planting a flag for truth and reason against the stupidity and superstition of the adult world.
Yeah, interesting.
He's like, I believe in you, children, and I believe in your ability to be smarter than the adults you're surrounded by.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very funny.
Which is not unfair. We're like, maybe, 1760s, we're maybe like, 2 generations removed from, like, peak witch trials?
Yeah.
By the 1760s, the idea of a woman being arrested and tried for witchcraft is, like, kind of funny.
Okay.
But, like, not that funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that, he chose to include that in a children's book.
Yeah, it's like witch trials and ghost stories. He's like, it's all bullshit. Don't believe anything anyone tells you.
Yeah. Make sure your parents read this with you. I appreciate, you know what? I like it.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm a fan. I guess a kid probably would have like had, bought that book, had that book bought for them, and then it would have been, I'm assuming, like their only book for a long time, or no?
I mean, I think it would depend on the child.
That's
you
true.
know, it would depend on like how affluent you were. It's, I think if you were like a lower middle class child, you would maybe have one book like this, and then maybe you'd have like a bunch of chapbooks.
Yeah.
This was an extraordinary popular book. And again, like, it is referenced explicitly by a bunch of authors of kind of the next generations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, including Jane Austen. Like,
Yeah.
It was a defining children's book for a lot of, like, for millions of people.
Yeah.
Through many generations.
Yeah.
And by the 1880s, they are like reissuing it as kind of like a, remember this book? Like, oh, guys, remember this book?
You guys, the book.
Yeah.
Aw.
In part because like by the 1800s, we have children's fiction that looks a lot more like what we are used to. Like, from this point, children's fiction is just kind of an unstoppable powerhouse.
Yeah. Because it's a moneymaker.
Yes. And like I said, one of the things I find so interesting is how much the goalposts move in terms of like what is for children.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning, like, if you go back to like the Renaissance, where it's like you learn your alphabet and then you are reading what the adults are reading.
Yeah.
To, okay, maybe we'll make some stuff that is like explicitly aimed at children because children are distinct from adults. And Newbury, part of the reason that Newbury is considered so important is that he believed in John Locke's idea that the human is kind of born a blank slate,
Mm-hmm.
and that children are not inherently evil.
Jury's still out on that one.
Well, the jury is still out on that one for a lot of evangelical parents in America right now.
True.
There's a really good book about it by Talia Levine called Wild Faith that is very upsetting to read, but very informative.
Yeah.
But by the Enlightenment, we're like, okay, children are not inherently evil. They don't need to be beaten into compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make learning fun, you don't hit your children as often. So maybe we will make fun books for the children.
Crazy idea, I know. Let's just try it.
So that attaining literacy requires fewer beatings and tears.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, that goalpost keeps moving to now, where, rightly or wrongly, you are accused of being a fun-hating snob if you suggest that adults ought to sometimes read books written for adults.
Yeah. Are you speaking from personal experience, Grace?
No comment.
Is this personally relevant?
And I find it very interesting, the extent to which we've gone from there being no such thing as literature for children to literature for children and young adults being the vast majority of the literary market.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's interesting, too, that, like, children's tales always have to be, it seems even going back to this point, children's tales are always, like, didactic. They're always and setting an example for, how you want children to behave, which I completely understand and, like, even agree with. There's not a ton of stuff that's, like, purely for fun, It's always educational, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah, you don't get much pushback on that notion until well into the 1940, like the sort of, there is like a wave of like quote unquote subversive children's literature that is kind of pushing back at the idea that there has to be like a tidy, instructive moral, or at least is kind of pushing back on like what that moral should be.
Yeah.
Like one of the pushbacks right now is like whether we still like Roald Dahl.
Really?
Well, because a lot of his books can be quite mean-spirited.
Yeah, they can.
And I'm of the opinion that it is perfectly fine for children to read some mean-spirited books as long as they are not exclusively reading mean-spirited books.
Yeah.
There are a lot of mean-spirited people in the world.
I always think of The Twits. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
It like kind of scared me. I was a very sheltered child. It kind of what? What's funny? It kind of scared me as a child because like they were so mean and everything.
Yeah.
But that's instructive as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, I don't want to be like that.
His fiction was very dark and definitely like is considered, kind of subversive.
Yeah. But like the world is dark.
The world is dark and hard. I don't know. I saw, and this will be my last point because we do need it's time to ride this horse into the stable. But I saw a thing recently that was somebody on the internet talking about protecting their child from all of the stuff that they watched growing up, so much of which starts with like the parents dying, and how they were only letting their child watch more contemporary television shows and movies that are more kind of wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I get where they're coming from, but I also think that like at a minimum you probably want like a good mix, because fiction is where we get to do dress rehearsals for our emotions.
Yeah.
Especially as children.
That's where you learn empathy.
Yeah. Well, it's also where you get to kind of microdose tragedy.
Yeah.
And then process it at arm's length.
True.
And I think it's good and important actually for kids to be exposed to stuff that is pretty harrowing. Like I think that I think that actually helps. And clearly John Newbury agreed with me, because this book opens with both of her parents dying horrifically.
Yeah, quickly. And then her getting thrown out of the village?
Yes. Another great tradition of children's literature. Just like, here's our heroine. She has no parents now.
Yeah. She has nothing.
And I think there is absolutely a place for fiction and narratives that are gentler and cozier, but I do not think that they should be consumed exclusively.
Sure, and like also there are kids whose like parents have died.
Yeah,
what about those kids? You want to rub it in their face every book they read?
Bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
And children have a limited amount of time to work through that stuff before they wind up in the real world where real things are really happening to them.
Yeah.
And, anyway, that's my little soapbox.
I agree.
So
I'm on the soapbox with you, and we're jockeying for space because it is a small soapbox.
We need more soapboxes.
More soapboxes.
We're not using enough soap.
We are a filthy people.
So yeah, that's
This was a very sweet read actually, because we all grew up with, especially my mom was a teacher and then she was a children's librarian, and just the Newbery Award has been a constant.
Oh yeah.
Little thing in my life, and not that makes me sound like I'm like involved with it somehow. I'm not. It's just I don't know. This is kind of a nostalgic tale.
Yeah.
For me, learning, educational experience. I keep hitting the mic. I hope you can't hear that.
Well, and it's nice of John Newbery to teach us good and early, all the way back from the 1760s, one of the most important lessons of all, which is that if you are a woman with a basic understanding of science, you will be tried for witchcraft.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd she know when to cut the grass?
How dare you know what a barometer is?
How do barometers work? I don't know. Must be magic.
Set that woman on fire.
Yeah, quick.
Lee.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for all of your contributions to season 2.
Oh.
We did it. We made it through the end.
Yay.
Yay.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You congratulated me for. I didn't do anything.
Well, I'm congratulating us all.
Oh.
I'm congratulating the basic notion of literacy.
Yes.
It is August. Season 2 is over.
You did it.
We-
Grace, thank you for entertaining us and teaching us so much this season.
Aw, thank
this
you.
Year. Yes.
We made it through season 2, and reading books is not outright banned yet.
Not yet. Get it while you can.
So that's something. Thank you all, every single one of you, so much for being here. Thanks for continuing to listen. Thanks for giving me an excuse to keep making this show. I really love it. And if you're here listening right now, even if this is your first ever episode, I don't know. I love you. Thanks a bunch. You're
Aw.
great.
Yeah,
I
you are.
appreciate everyone who cares about books and history and cares about the cultural forces and patterns that got us here. And
It's good stuff to know.
I appreciate everyone who wants to hear about how queer people have always existed, especially in our fiction. I'm
Haha.
really grateful for everyone who cares about the stories written by women.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited to share all of that with you when I make this show.
Yay.
So thanks. We'll be back. And yeah, like I said, if you want to hop on Substack so that you can be kept in the loop as things are updated. It is called The Epilogue by Didn't Read It.
Great title.
You can find it on Substack. I will put it in the show notes. And if you subscribe, you will get updates when I post intermittently through our break. And you will get updates when we come back for our regularly scheduled programming.
We cannot wait.
And that's everything. Happy August.
Woo.
I hope you're all staying cool through the record-breaking heat.
Woo.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess that there's record-breaking heat happening by the time this comes out.
I think that's a fair guess. You are which? Do you have a barometer?
No!
Wait a minute.
And as always, if you can, this week, this month, this pay period, this hiatus,
Yeah.
consider supporting a living author. Because especially in the current political climate,
Oh, yeah.
they could really, really use the love.
Oh, yeah.
Bye. Didn't Read It was created, written, researched, and recorded by me, Grace Todd. Maddie Wood is our co-producer and social media maven. Our theme song is Books 2.0, written, performed, and recorded by William Albritton. Our logo was designed and illustrated by the incredibly talented Jess Versus. Special thanks to Black Iris Social Club in Richmond, Virginia. Reach out to us with questions, concerns, or academic scrutiny at didntreaditpod@gmail.com.